What's up, y'all? It's your boy Futuristic. Make sure you check me out on the Bootleg Kev podcast. Shout out to Bootleg Kev. Ain't you DJ Head?
Bootleg Kev podcast. Special guest. My guy.
Bootleg Kev, you feel me?
Futuristic is in the building.
What's going down?
What's up, man?
You know, just living a full and complete life. How you doing?
Well, you have a baby now?
Have a baby.
Congratulations.
Almost 4 months old.
It's a big deal.
Crazy.
Change your life?
Yeah, no. Like, not as much as I feel like people say it will.
Right.
But luckily I have a wife that's a stay-at-home mom and gets to, you know,
handle the children duties
while I'm out, you know, trying to get this money and retire by 40, you know, so it's all good.
Nice.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, you're from my hometown of Phoenix.
Yes, sir.
You and I have a very long history together.
Yeah. Over a decade.
First met, it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
We started kicking
probably
it
right around
tough in 2012.
Yeah.
When I moved to Phoenix from Vegas. And that was kind of when you had first started to like, I just remember moving to Phoenix and like all the rappers, like I had left Vegas where like Dizzy Wright was popping and Sean Rose. And I was like, fuck, man, there's like everyone who I know who's rapping in Phoenix is like 50 and have been trying to do this shit since I was a child.
Yeah.
And I don't know who sent me your shit. You might have sent it. I don't know. I just said something on Twitter and someone sent me one of your videos. And then you would, that was like kind of at the beginning of like you really starting to catch the real national buzz.
Yeah, yeah.
What was the name of the album with the dream catcher? Chasing Down a Dream?
Chasing Down a Dream, yeah.
Yeah. It was like before that.
Yeah, so 2012, 2013, yeah.
Yeah. So you've been like independently killing it for this whole 10 years now.
A little decade. Yesterday was the decade mark since Dream Big came out, my first professional
That was
album.
like the cartoon cover, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So what are you up to now? You're still making music.
Of course. Making music, always will make music, but been focused on a lot of other things. Started a company called Indie Amplify, another company called Maps. And I'm managing the dudes that just came in here and went crazy and murdered.
OCD,
Oswin Benjamin, Chris Rivers, Anakin, Michael Manelli, a lot of dope artists I'm managing now. And then, just focus on Indie Amplify and dropping music because I'll always drop music.
Just because you have the luxury?
Yeah.
Indie Amplify is like it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people who are independent, they don't know where to get like access to like the easiest things. Like some people are like, I don't know how to get my shit on TikTok with an influencer, or I don't know how to get a feature. How do I even begin to get a feature?
Right.
Or how do I even begin to get some advice?
Facts.
Even like you do like consultations and really playlisting.
All sorts of stuff.
If you're trying to get your shit on, it's like a one-stop shop for any independent artist who has a serious, like, you know, anyone who's serious about their craft is trying to invest in their shit. Like they could go there and really kind of pick and choose like what they want to do, right? Yeah,
it's like all the label services at your fingertips, basically, where it's like you could book a feature from an artist, you could get consulting from like Ace is on there, Corday's manager. You can get consulting from Adam Ivy, who's a huge YouTube marketer. You can get consulting from all these people. You can get playlisting, you can get educational resources, content creators, social media influencers, everything to really boost your career. And we've had a lot of dope success stories where, you know, people cop a feature. For example, somebody copped a feature from me, and then the next thing you know, Chanel West Coast is trying to jump on the remix with this person. Not that that's the
I was going to say, is that a good thing?
That's not that that's the end all be all, but what's dope is...
No disrespect to Chanel West Coast, but...
You can get seen by so many people from working with other bigger people. So you could book Dizzy Wright for a feature. You could book Devon Terrell, Futuristic, all these different people for a feature. Yeah,
because you kind of have like been so self-made throughout all these years, and you had to figure out a lot of this for yourself.
Yeah.
What sparked the idea to like bring it all together?
It literally was same shit you probably go through, where everybody's hitting you up like, yo, can you link me with this? Can you link me with this? Can you do this? So it was like, after I started like learning the playlisting game and I built a spreadsheet of playlists, I was like, people started hitting me up like, how you on all these playlists? So then I started playlisting people. Then people were like, how are you getting reactors to react to your stuff? And it's just like all the homies I already knew.
Right.
So then I'm like, I'm tired of middlemaning every single thing. So I'm just going to build a website for people to get everything. So when I had that in mind, I was just like, okay, what resources do I really have? And it's like, oh, features, music reviews, consulting,
YouTube
reaction
reactions.
videos, all this different stuff. And so I just put it on one site, and we take a 20% commission. And everybody, if anybody asks me for anything, somebody sends me a link to listen to their music,
Indie Amplify.
Indie Amplify, music review right here. I'm not listening to your music for less than $100. Boom, there it is. Period. And so that's kind of what I encourage everybody else to do as well. And not as the owner, but as the artist on the site. I made 150 bands last year just from people booking me for music reviews, consulting, and features.
Wow.
So you can really live off of it. And I wasn't even our top selling artist.
Who's your top selling artist?
We had Crypt do hella bread on reactions. Justina Valentine got requested for a ton, but she doesn't accept a bunch of them.
Right.
So like if she would have accepted all of hers, she would have made like 200-300 bands.
Shout out to her. She's dope.
Yeah. So
You guys got stuff together.
yeah, me and Justina been rocking since 2000. Same time I met you, basically. She's went on basically all my tours.
Jesus, I didn't know that.
Yeah. She went on from everything. Like she did the whole As Seen on the Internet tour. She stayed at my dad's crib with me in 2013. So
That's
yeah, she's been
fucking
touring
crazy.
with me since 2013.
So you made just not even as the owner of the site,
as
you
the
made
owner.
150 bands just off of features and people paying you to listen to their shit,
Yeah.
advice.
in consulting, yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like the way you kind of came up, like I feel like you and at the time your producer, shout out to Matt.
Yep, Action.
You guys really kind of figured out Facebook.
Yeah.
You guys had like the Facebook shit on lock.
Yeah.
And this was like early on.
Yeah.
To where you had like you built, would you say you kind of originally started to really build a lot of your cult following through Facebook? I know it was YouTube as well.
Yeah, it was kind of YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. Like we just ran. We had a crazy setup. Like Action is just a nerd.
Right.
So dude had like 4 computers set up in his house, and he had like a robot that was just scraping emails off blogs. So he was like sending my stuff through that chain. And then we had like we had all the different Facebook post robots doing that. And then we ran marketing. Literally we marketed in Arizona to from 12 to 28 year olds that only liked very similar artists to me. And we spent like $50 every day for like a year.
And
Like,
that shit just worked.
we just went crazy. Yeah, we went super crazy. Then we just kept expanding. And then I started jumping on tours. And yeah, I mean, it seems like it was a really long process, but it was like from 2012 to 2015, really like it went crazy.
Yeah, because I remember when you had originally brought Dizzy out for your album release party.
Yeah.
That
And
was
Kyle.
at Club Red. Oh yeah, Kyle. I just had Kyle here. Shout out to Kyle.
Yeah,
KID at the time.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
fucking crazy.
Jaren was on that show.
Yeah. So because that was
Wow.
for what album was that for?
That was Chasing Down a Dream.
Yeah.
2013. Yeah. That was the release show.
And I remember like how you doing that record with Dizzy kind of like it felt like it was a big momentum shift for you when that kind of when you guys did the video together.
Yeah.
And I know you always preach to up and coming artists like to pay for the right feature with the artist.
Yeah.
So kind of give us some insight into that because some people are like, man, I don't pay for nothing. Like fuck all that.
At the end of the day,
Sometimes you pay for a feeture and it's like
it changed your life.
it could, but it also could be a waste of fucking money. Like if you pay for a Young Buck feature.
Yeah. I don't know why anyone would ever do that. That's crazy. When you when you get the right feature and the right demographic, like I tell people this, my ultimate goal, and no shade to Dizzy or Jaren, was to work with Hopsin.
Right.
So I wasn't necessarily trying to get a Dizzy feature or a Jaren feature. I was trying to get a Hopsin feature. So when I inquired about Hopsin, they was like, he's got a show coming to, I saw he was coming to Arizona. I'm like, I want to get a feature with him and shoot a video. Dame hit me back and was like, nah, Hopsin doesn't really do features, but I got Dizzy Wright and Jaren Benton, and this is Dizzy's price. And so I did the song with Dizzy for $500
Wow.
is what he charged for the feature. And then they had just signed Jaren, so they put him on the song for free. They put him on their channel. Now, obviously, this isn't the typical way it would go, but ideally, if you want to work with a team or a camp or anything, like it's as simple as working with a photographer that works with these people.
Mm-hmm.
You want the person you want to work with to see your stuff. So if you get in the right teams and the right camps that makes sense for your audience, it's a cosign and it's something that can grow into something way more. So that $500 feature turned into 3 more songs with Dizzy, 2 tours with Dizzy, a tour with Hopsin, multiple songs with Jaren Benton, like then weed sponsorships, and I don't even smoke. Like that $500 has made me way over $500,000.
Wow.
Based off of just reaching out and getting that.
Right, building the relationship. And I always tell this to people. I'm like, yo, if you're gonna do a feature with someone, make sure that their fans are super engaged.
Yeah.
Because then you can kind of like, if you're dope, you kind of like not steal, you know, but you can
steal, yeah.
You can kind of purge some of their fan base to be your fans.
That's how I felt about everything that I did. Anytime I talk to an artist, I say it's all about platforms. What platform can you get on? If I have a song about weed, then how many weed blogs can I get on? How many weed Instagrams can I get on? How many weed TikTok pages can I get on? And that was kind of the mode with everything. So another artist is another platform. Their platform is for you. And so how can you capitalize on that to the most? So like when I do something with somebody, it's like, okay, well, let's do like a giveaway. Like, let's do something to where like your fans damn near have to follow me and my fans have to follow you, or vice, whatever
Right.
I can do to where it's like, we're both going to get the most out of this opportunity and it's going to be beneficial. So anytime somebody gets a feature, and then build on that. Like, don't work with somebody who's not willing to post your shit.
Yeah, you want to make sure that they're gonna like actually promote you, and then also like keep following up on that relationship. Don't just do the song and then just
And be out.
thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Peace, yeah.
How was it with that? Did you talk about the Strange Music tour rules?
Yeah, Strange Music is wild, but it works really well for me because I'm a super organized, like,
Yeah, you're
on
not
my
like
shit type dude.
a wild druggie. So
Yeah, but Dizzy definitely got fined a few times. It all makes sense. Like, Strange Music is ran obviously by Tech, but by Travis. And Travis has a rule book,
he
like
rules with an iron fist.
a 30-page rule book of all this different stuff. And it's like, one of the rules is your girlfriend can't ride on the tour bus to the next city. Well, the reason why that's a rule is because somebody's girlfriend was on the bus, got into it with a rapper, and got her ass knocked out. So that's why
There's
that's
a reason
rule.
why there's a rule.
Or
for
like
everything.
the reason why fans can't be on the bus is because a fan came on the bus and one of their homies came and shot at him or whatever, and that's why there's
There's a reason for every rule.
There's a reason for every rule. Why you can't bring weed on the bus, why you can't do this, why you can't do that. And you get fined. It's like you get fined the first time, you get fined the second time, and the third time you get kicked off the tour.
Did you get fined at all?
I didn't get fined. My DJ got fined for, I think, missing bus call and maybe being late to something. And then I know Dizzy got fined for smoking in the green room like 8 times. And that was pretty much the extent of our bus's fines. But yeah, people get fined for a lot of crazy stuff. And it's dope though, because for me, it's like, I didn't have to do nothing. It was the easiest tour ever because I'm used to doing everything.
Right. They're handling everything.
I just showed up and it's like they got their own sound tech.
They got the merch.
They got the merch.
handled.
They got a very organized schedule. It's like, cool. Be here for meet and greet. Be here for sound check. Be here for the show. Good.
Were you allowed to do your crowd dunk on that tour? Because I feel like
Yeah.
you were allowed to do it. Okay.
Yeah, and that was actually one I told him, I'm like, I have to do this. This is part of my show because they don't crowd surf.
Right.
And I'm like, trust me, I'm not like jumping in the crowd where nobody knows. And the reason why that's a rule is because somebody got paralyzed at a tech show from tech surfing.
Shit.
So, or maybe somebody else was surfing. Somebody was surfing at a tech show, got paralyzed. So for me though, I was like, look,
This is my thing.
I'm all at 155 pounds. I hurdle everybody up. I jump in a specific area. Never hurt anybody before in my life. I got to do this. And yeah, they let me do it.
What is something that you learned from like, yeah, obviously you've been around Hobson a lot, but just touring with Tech 9. Tech's like professionalism, and then like you said, just kind of the professional like way that Strange does business. It's very un-hip hop like.
Yeah, I think that was the coolest thing to me was like, I kind of have a compound in Arizona that's like, I got my crib, I got my studio house next door. I have a bunch of stuff going on with Ryan from Guest List. So like I have my businesses, but theirs, bro, like you could eat off the floor at any of their facilities. Like anything. Like all their facilities are so clean. Everything is immaculate. Everything is just in pristine condition. So like the way that their operation worked was really dope to see that. That's probably the illest thing that I took away from it was just like the organization and the cleanliness of how their ship ran.
Right. What is something that, because you know what you might have did 7, 8, 9 years ago to get your shit going might not be, you know, blogs are dead, right? Like no one gives a fuck about blogs.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
there's certain shit that has changed from
A lot
then
of
to
shit.
now. And
Yeah.
now that you're doing management shit, what are the new things that you've kind of had to even just adjust to? Like TikTok, crazy.
I was gonna say TikTok is the easiest, or it's not. I won't say it's easy, but it's the quickest organic way. If you don't have any money, TikTok is damn near the only way where you can just blow up. And then other than that, I would still say it is still collaborations and connections, and your net worth is really your network is your net worth. You know, so I would say collabs. main artists with other bigger artists on Spotify, doing that type of thing. And then just the TikTok content and how you make it. I think utilizing every platform to its fullest and knowing that like the reel that you make or the TikTok you make isn't the same thing you should post on Facebook, isn't the same thing you should post on Twitter, isn't this every platform. You have to make content specifically for the platform. Or
That's
else,
real.
Yeah, or else it doesn't work.
Yeah, Facebook's like its own fucking...
It's its own thing. Like a meme on Facebook is gonna go crazy. That same reel that you made, turn it into a square, make it a meme and put that on Facebook. That's gonna do better than a reel a lot of times. Or you post your reel and put it in the reel section. Don't just make it a regular post. Like everything is different. Like for me, yeah, it was blogs and robots scraping emails and reaching out, and like none of that works anymore.
For any artist who's up and coming watching this, what is like a good starting place for like an amount of money they should save up before they really start kind of investing and maybe dropping an official record?
I don't know if there's an amount. I feel like I've seen people blow with $0. I've seen people blow up with literally no money at all, and go crazy. So I don't think there's a specific amount. I think it's just what people do is they get antsy and they put stuff out and they don't have a plan. What I always tell people is like, however much you spend on the music to make it, you should definitely have that much at least to market it, first of all. And then you should always have a 20-day plan at least for every single song that you put out. You should have 10 pieces of content. You should have all these things in order. You should have platforms that you've reached out to. And actually I have on Indie Amplify, I have my book. I have an all-in-one bundle that has like all the contracts you would need, all the checklists you would need, and all the information you would need to really, I guess, take off, you know. But yeah, it's really just planning your work and working your plan. And I think a lot of people make music and just post it on their Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and don't have a plan for it.
Russ shouted you out on Chomp 2.
Yeah.
What was that? Did he open for you in a show?
Yeah, he opened for me in 2015, right after The Greatest came out. We did a show at Ole Miss, and I'll never forget, bro. Like, so Russ is opening up for me. We get to the green room or whatever, and it's his time to go on stage. He already has like What They Want, a couple other of his songs that are big now. None of them have blown yet. He goes on stage. I think he's supposed to do 30 minutes. He did like 15 or 20. He came back in the green room, and I tried to give him like a motivational speech. I was like, bro, like you got to just go out there and like crush it. You can't you can't quit. He's like, nah, they're ready for you, bro. And then he said, that's when I gave him the speech or whatever. And he's like, it don't matter. I'm gonna be the biggest artist in the world. And I was looking at him like, okay. And then I went up, did my shit. It was a college party, so we're, you know, chilling all night, drinking, hanging out, playing beer pong, whatever. And that was the last time I saw him. And then a couple months later, all his shit just started going crazy.
Yeah, his shit's
out of here.
It's wild.
Super out of here. But yeah, I'll never forget that. Literally, he was like, it don't matter, bro. I'm gonna be the biggest artist in the world.
That's dope.
Yeah. Wow.
Manifestation, man.
Yeah, big fact.
You also worked with like NF. I never heard of NF before he worked with you.
Right. He was a Christian artist.
Yeah. And so when you guys worked together, I had no idea who the fuck this guy was.
He's
some
crushing.
Mysterious white guy.
Yeah.
And now he's fucking, you know,
like
killing
top 5. Yeah, crazy. Going nuts.
Top 5 of what? Just
I'm just saying like top, like he's
killing it.
Killing it. He's selling out. He's doing bigger shows than most rappers.
For
like,
sure.
He's gonna do arenas next year.
Yeah, people don't like acknowledge it because I just don't feel like he plays in rap circles, if that makes sense.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, it's always like that.
He's just kind of hit on an island.
But if you talk about like he's got songs, I know at least one song that has 1 billion streams.
No, his videos are always crazy.
Just his fan base is nuts.
But like I feel like there's like a lot of those examples of artists that you linked up with super early on that ended up going on to be like super fucking huge.
Yeah.
He made a decision to sign to a major.
Yeah.
Why did you never make that decision?
So he was signed. He's like one of the last person I've ever seen that really got signed off of talent. Like he walked in a label and rapped for him and was like, this is what I do.
We got you.
And they signed him. Like,
so he was already signed when you guys were?
Yeah, he had been signed for 4 or 5 years.
He probably got a shitty deal in.
In the beginning, I believe he did. And then now, obviously, his deal's a lot better.
There's no leverage.
Yeah, he's managed by the dude who manages 21 Pilots. Like, he's crushing. He gets to do whatever he wants. But for me, it was like, it just didn't make sense. First of all, like, I'll make something and then want to drop it right away, right? Like, I am very much work off the momentum of what I'm doing. And then I had a lot of major label things happen to me, and I worked with a lot of major label people, and none of them were happy. Like,
true.
I talked with NF about his deal. I talked with all these different artists about their deals, and they all hated it. And then at the same time, like,
hey, Kyle's back to being indie. A lot of people are going that route. And so what happened was I dropped The Greatest, blew up.
I dropped the Rise. That went crazy. Like I made $144,000 first week when my shit dropped. So first of all, you couldn't tell me nothing.
Off
I'm
pre-sales.
like off the iTunes. Yeah. When people were still copying shit on iTunes. So I'm like, oh, we're going crazy. So after that, I started comparing my numbers because I'm seeing myself on the charts next to these people. And I believe that Ray Srimmerd had sold 14,000 copies and I sold 12,000. And I'm just like looking at their album and I'm like, how much did they pay for all these beats? How much were they paying all these artists?
And how much is their percentage that they get to,
and how much did they walk away with? Yeah. And I'm just like, yo, if they got all this promotion, I see them everywhere and they only sold 2,000 more copies than me, that's crazy. And then I did, tours and did Jimmy Fallon, Good Morning America, and saw the way that labels were kind of running that situation. A lot of money was wasted on that whole thing. And I'm just like, I'd be sick. Like I'd be sick.
When you get the bill.
Yeah, like, there's no way. And you don't even have control of how you spend that money. Like
it just gets spent.
And
then you get the bill and then you got to recoup it.
Yeah, no thank you. I'd be pissed.
The closest thing, you had like a little short time with Red Bull Music, right? Or was that like a thing that never actually happened?
I never signed with them. I was meeting with everybody. Like I met with Atlantic. I was talking with them. Really liked them. I liked, what's the dude's name? He was Eminem's guy.
Rosenberg?
No, the other dude. I can't remember, but there was one dude that I really rocked with who I felt like really saw my vision. Then I rocked with Tick over at Red Bull, and then with Wendy at Universal Republic. Now I was really close to signing with Universal Republic, but that was in between doing my album. I already had the idea for As Seen on the Internet, which they didn't understand, which I don't know why. And then I was doing Jimmy Fallon and all that and seeing how that was playing out. Then they flew me to New York multiple times, and the main cat at Republic blew me off. And I'm like, y'all flew me here. It was either 2 or 3 times they flew me to New York to specifically meet with him, and he never showed. And I'm like, if you're blowing me off now, what you gonna do when you got me under contract? You're definitely not coming in. You're supposed to be courting me right now.
Did Strange ever try to sign you?
Weirdly, Strange and Funk Volume have never tried to sign me. Everybody thought that like, oh, he turned down Funk Volume, he turned down Strange. Neither one of them ever offered me a deal.
That's interesting.
Which Dame told me, he's like, you're too similar, so why would I sign you? You're pretty much already ingrained in our fan base. So what more would it add to you and add to us? And then with Strange, it was like, yeah, they never offered me anything either.
Hey, we got to stop the interview real quick, man. Shout out to our sponsors at MyBookie. Now, if you're into sports like me, you like to win money, what are we doing? Go to MyBookie right now, man. Let's get in on some of this action. MyBookie. Go sign up, get the double deposit bonus. This is what this means. When you sign up at MyBookie right now, all right, whatever money you deposit, they're going to match it. They're going to double it for you up to $1,000, but you got to use the keyword, the promo code Bootleg. That's right. Use that promo code Bootleg when you sign up at MyBookie. They're going to double your deposit. Listen, March Madness is coming up. My favorite time of the year to gamble is March Madness. It is so much fun. You don't got to know a fucking thing about college basketball. It is just fucking turned up. I love to go to, listen, March Madness. That's really all you need to know. Get your account before then. Thank me later. Also, NBA action is finally back. Throw down some futures. Who you think is going to win the MVP? Joel Embiid, Jokic, Devin Booker, a little dark horse. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Suns. You got to go to MyBookie, though. Sign up. Get down right now, all right? Get double your money, double your deposit. You put in 1,000, they're going to match that, give you a whole nother 1,000 to gamble with. MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code Bootleg, double your deposit. Let's get into some Arizona shit. So early on, I feel like you got a lot of flack from some of these whack ass people in Arizona who were supposed to be like tastemakers or whatever, because I feel like you had a lot of fucking hate in AZ, because this was at the time when you and I were like super close, and there was a lot of people who just felt some type of way that like I had my arm around you and I wasn't co-signing them. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then
you probably knew more than me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But you had kind of like did a good job, I feel like, of like not being a part of like the underbelly of AZ hip hop that like is like low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
And I think that like in the long run it was for the better, right? But like, do you remember like that era where you were getting like kind of some shit in AZ for kind of, I don't know if people thought you were too good for the scene or whatever it was, but also the scene kind of sucked.
It's weird.
But you were doing your own thing, like you were doing the shit at Club Red once a month, where you were. But you know what I mean. You mean there was like this little world of Arizona hip hop, and you were not in that world,
right?
And a lot of those guys felt some type of way,
right? I think honestly, it was kind of crazy when I first linked up with Action. Well, it bothered me a little bit, but also I wasn't from there, so I didn't really know. Like all the cats you're talking about, I feel like everybody knew each other.
Right.
I didn't know anybody. So I was just focused on how do I get on. And the first show I ever did in Arizona, or one of them, was opening up for Willie Northpole. And right away, I'm like, this is not my demographic. I'm never opening up for this type of crowd again. Like it just didn't make sense. So then when I linked with Action, he was kind of telling me about like MGK in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. And MGK was the same way in Cleveland. And we kind of modeled, like, even if you look at the Dream Big cover, that's made by MGK's guy, Glenn Infante. So he was just like, yo, there was a Cleveland Hip Hop Awards in 2012 and MGK didn't win anything. And I was like, what? And that was kind of like my roadmap, where I was just like, it doesn't matter. Why are all the rappers trying to impress other rappers? I'm trying to impress fans. I'm not trying to impress any other rappers or work with any other rappers or any shit like that. I'm just trying to get where I'm going. So for me, I actually did a ton for the Arizona scene of people that are doing shit now.
Because you had to prove it shit. That was going crazy.
That's what I'm saying. But none of the artists that were supposed to be somebody ever did those because they felt like they were too big for it. But those shows every time were 350 plus people.
Right.
And it was because I put 9 acts on the bill that all were required to sell 30 tickets or they didn't perform. And so those people that did that now are like, yo, that was my shit. That was my first show ever, was doing Futuristic's Prove It back in the day. So I did a lot for the scene. It just wasn't for the people that felt entitled and that was their scene. I had a completely different scene.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of like the old heads in AZ feel like real ownership over like anything that comes out of the state for whatever fucking reason.
Yeah.
And like that's why when I moved back, I was like, man, all this shit that's been going on since I was a fucking 11 years old, like I'm trying to do my,
right.
I need to find the new guys.
Right.
Because the Arizona scene was so stale and it was just a bunch of very old dudes.
Yeah. That had been rapping there forever.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, look, this is Futuristic.
Yeah.
He's a fucking, you can rap your ass off. You were very different. You were very original. And then like, obviously there was guys like Sincerely Collins,
yeah.
Well, I don't know if we met through you or not. I know iRock brought him up to the station.
I know I showed him to you.
You showed him to me.
I showed him to you before iRock, before you had talked to iRock about him. And yeah, you didn't like his music originally.
You remember that dude, Renzel? He had a fucking Jake did one of his videos. Renzel? Junior.
Yeah.
Junior
was hard.
He was fire.
He lives in Texas.
He changed his name.
Yeah.
To the weird name. And who else was dope? I mean, obviously V, who I know you guys never really saw eye to eye.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think that era that was just like
Merkham's was doing his thing still back then.
I didn't remember Merkham. I didn't know Merkham's back then.
Really? Yeah. Me and Merkham's got a joint from like 2011. Like I've known him for that long. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Teray, Preem. I don't think I knew of Preem back then.
I didn't know of Preem back then.
I knew of Teray. I didn't know of Preem. But yeah,
what was that cipher? Who all was a part of that cipher when you came up to the radio station?
What cipher?
Remember we did the Ready Set Radio 1 year anniversary cipher. It was like you, V, you were. It's on YouTube, bro.
I don't remember that.
We got super shit faced. I forget who the fuck was on that.
I don't remember it at all. I know we did one with Collins and Markel.
No, that was the one that we shot at iRock Studio.
At iRock's? Okay,
no,
yeah.
but we did like a radio cipher.
I really don't remember that at all.
I'm trying to think who else was on there. I don't remember. Fuck. It was so long ago. Your boy's looking it up. 20.
Hannibal Leck was on that?
Hannibal Leck.
I kind of remember being in a room with that group. It was Hannibal Leck.
The lyrical, miracle, spiritual guy.
Ooh.
Rocky Tirade. He was in it.
I don't think I was in that.
You were in it.
I think I was there. I don't think I was in it.
Bro, you rapped. I remember you like. I remember everyone. I remember mostly everyone kind of fucked up except you. Hold on, let's pull this up. Ready, Set Radio.
No idea. Do not remember this at all.
Cypher. Oh, Collateral. Remember the white?
Oh yeah, I remember
guy.
Collateral. He was part of Wax
the group,
Society.
Wax. That's who else I fucked with. Was
I
Wax
loved
Society.
Wax Society.
Wax
Yo,
Society
shout out
was
to Wax
fire.
Society.
Their whole fucking thing was lit.
They don't exist anymore.
I know, they were dope. I remember they had the little dude who like looked like a model, and then they had the guy who worked at Zoomies.
Josh.
Shit, you're in here rapping. There you are. Look, this is you rapping.
Let me see. I probably have a fucking jean vest on too, don't I?
Probably do.
That's definitely.
Wait, you're in here somewhere. Hold on, where the fuck?
I don't think I rapped, bro.
You rapped.
To the game and I know it. Understand I speak into the mic.
Because I had you go last, and everyone felt some type of way because I had you go last. Collateral was fire.
In Arizona, October 30th and
Look, I'm just talking. I'm not rapping.
This is on the internet, bud.
I promise I did it on accident. I'm spastic when I rap, and when it happens, it be like magic tricks. They don't
Yeah.
Then they want me to rap again.
What year was that? 2008 years ago?
That's it?
Yeah, it was 2013, August 2013.
No recollection of that.
Wax Society.
Yeah. They did a Prove It. Crushed it. The first Prove It ever.
They were
Crushed
fire.
it. Yeah, they headlined the first one.
There were some dope artists out of Arizona that just should have kept going.
For sure.
Somebody in that group should have just broke away solo. I guess they tried, right? I don't know.
T. Call did. The bigger cat.
T. Call hosted his mixtape.
Yeah. T. Call was part of Wax
He on
Society.
that wrestling rap shit.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mega Ran too. Mega Ran's also been supporting his life through music for a very long time.
Yeah. Random. I ran into him in London or Paris. One of the two. We both had a show in London or Paris the same night.
Mega Ran, the legend.
Mega Ran.
Great
Yes,
guy.
sir. Facts.
Where do you like I feel like you're like a little bit more involved now in like just local shit in general.
Yeah. Definitely. When I moved back to Arizona, probably the same way you felt, right? Like when you left and then you came back, you were like, yo, like I want to do something different.
Yeah.
And so same thing kind of happened for me. Right away, I like tried to dive into the scene and see what was going on. And the first thing I did was go to a Full Moon Fest. You ever been to Full Moon out there? Or even heard of it? Crazy. One of the illest things, like packed out, over 1,000 people at these festivals, and they do them every full moon. And so it's like 5 or 6 stages. It's a lot of that Crystal shit you were talking about, like a lot of Sedona type rapper stuff there.
So
But
Sincerely Collins was headlining.
nah, he wasn't at the ones I went to. But that's where I discovered Color 8, the band that I had ended up going on tour with me. This girl Truvon, who ended up living at the Sheesh House for a while, and a lot of different other artists was just going crazy. And so right away, I kind of dove back into the scene, and I've just been. I don't want to say I've been discovering talent because they've been doing their shit for a while, but yeah, I found a lot of.
You've been like helping a lot of people for sure.
Yeah.
Like, is that kind of like what you're? Because when you inspiration wise, where do you get the most inspiration? Is it helping new artists now? Is it the Indie Amplify? Is it still your own music?
It comes in waves, right? Like there's some times where my whole focus. Definitely, I'd say my main motivation is seeing other people succeed. Like when I got Oswin on the MERS tour, like. I was more excited about that than the last time I got booked for a tour.
Right.
Like seeing Oz perform, kill it, sell merch, make some money, gain fans, like that was so dope to me. And then seeing artists like Michael Minnelli and getting him features, and Dizzy Wright loves Michael Minnelli.
Is he
now.
signed to you?
Yeah, Mike's with me too. So all that different, like that, I love that. Love seeing artists win. What J-Rob just did in the city is super fire.
Yeah, he just sold out Aura. Saturday.
Yeah, so I love that. And then Indie Amplify is just an extension of that, really. Everything that I do is kind of an extension of that. Indie Amplify, Maps, it's all an extension of helping other artists and seeing other artists succeed. So yeah, I mean, a big part of my inspiration comes from helping others win. And what's crazy is it's always been like that. Like I tried to sign Ali Tamanique back in the day. I was helping Collins a ton back in the day.
Yes, you were.
The stuff with Devon
You
Terrell.
and me both.
Like, yeah, seeing Devon Terrell win was amazing.
Yeah, he's dope.
Everybody that I've worked with, and even when Kyle blew up, like, dude, Kyle was a kid when we first started working
Just so
together.
we're clear, which Kyle we're talking about? Kyle, Super Duper Kyle.
Super duper Kyle. Like, going to his crib, like, he was a meter maid. Like, Kyle was like mobbing around the city, like being a meter maid, checking meters and shit when I first met him. And obviously he was working with Jake and doing all that. And then seeing his blow up was amazing to see. So like, yeah, man, I've always loved to watch other people win.
Who are you a fan of in the city right now that is not associated with you officially?
Who's not associated with me? Somebody people don't know is Vinjay. Vinjay lives in the city. He's not from Arizona, but he's crushing. He has like 800,000 monthly listeners. Binks is in the city. He crushes, writes amazing music. Obviously, Alexis isn't associated with me. Love his music. Young Reese, it's really dope to
Reese
see
is
what
dope.
Young Reese is doing.
He's a smart kid too.
Yeah, I listen.
Super great kid.
Listen to J Rob all the time. Love J Rob's new project.
Merkham's is killing it.
Merkham's is killing it.
I feel like Merkham's is kind of doing like a evolved version of what you were doing back in the day.
It's the same circuit. Yeah, it's like the same circuit.
Just as far as like relentless internet, just
going crazy.
Yeah.
Going crazy. Yeah. I love that from Merkham's for sure. And me and him actually had a really good conversation because he had a little chip on his shoulder for me because that song that we did, I shot a video and I didn't
put it out.
No, I didn't put him in it.
Oh.
But you got to understand the way Jake works is like me and Jake was roommates or me and Jake hung out all the time. So Jake be like, yo, let's shoot a video today. Let's rock. Da-da-da. And either I hit Merkham's or I didn't. And we shot the video real quick and we just did my verse. And so Merkham's was like, yo, you cut me out the verse. Yo, I did this and you didn't do this. And
That sounds like him.
So
just the accent, not the griping. I'm not saying he's a big complainer.
He had a little chip on his shoulder. So when we did the cypher, he told me about it a little bit. And I'm like, yo, I completely understand. But like for me, I can genuinely say I've never not wanted anybody to win. Like I've always wanted people to win. Period.
Why has because if we're talking about success, it's either you or MC Magic out of the state of Arizona. And now I'm not talking about Kiana Lede and fucking
Injury Reserve.
Injury Reserve 2 is up there.
Injury Reserve
Reserve's been doing their thing for sure. They kind of have like the they're like doing a really good shout out. I forget the kid's name who manages them.
Oh, I don't know who manages
The
them.
white kid. Shit.
The producer that's in the group, or is it somebody else?
No, there's a white dude who manages them. Doing a great job.
Okay.
But yeah, like I would say it's you and MC Magic as far as the faces of Arizona hip hop of all time. Mm-hmm. Why do you think no one's ever really like exceeded what you've done?
Dude, I work harder than everybody. I always have. Like I can't sleep. Like I can't do like music and business runs through my mind 24/7. So when my mission was to be a big artist, there was no way you was gonna stop me.
Right.
Like that's not my mission. Now my mission is Indie Amplify to be $100 million company. So that's gonna happen. My focus back then was I have to make $1 million by the time I'm 25 off music, period. It's gonna happen. And so I was just relentless every day, every night, no matter what it was. You hit me at fucking 8 o'clock, the show's at 9, we're going to Tucson, boom, I'm in the car.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't matter. I live, I eat, I breathe, I sleep music all the time. So I really think that's it. And then I feel like nobody does their fucking research. Nobody does their research and nobody has the business mind to really like take it there a lot of the times.
Yeah, I think work ethic is like a big deal. I think a lot of people who could have made it out of AZ were very entitled, and they I fucking just in general, whatever city you're in, like a lot of local artists might be talented, but they always have an excuse why they're not bigger that doesn't start with themselves.
Yeah.
It's always someone else's fault.
Yeah. I never really had that. I just felt like I'm gonna get there. I don't know how or when, so I'm just gonna do everything until it happens. And I'm not gonna stop. Like no second in my day was ever wasted. Like I'm working.
How big of a career move was it for you to move to LA for a few years? Because I do think that is important.
Yeah. I mean, everything popped when I was here. And it's kind of weird because even, well, the producers, let's just say that album, The Rise, was mostly produced by LA producers. So while they weren't super popping people, if I wouldn't have met them, I wouldn't have that record, The Greatest. So shout out to D Capo. When I met him, I think he produced 5 tracks in one day that all landed on the album. As far as like linking with Dawes, he's actually from Arizona. So
the YouTube guy.
Yeah, what blew me up was the nerd rap. But if I wouldn't have came here and met them.
Did you meet Dawes out here?
No, I met him in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, moving to LA is crazy because it's like you never know what you're gonna walk into. You never know who's gonna be in this room.
It's just a networking thing, I think.
It's crazy. But I don't know. Mine is kind of weird because I don't feel as dope as it was to be here. I don't feel like any major career moves necessarily happen here, but maybe just getting away from all the bullshit and being here. I don't know.
Because you and Jake were out here together, right?
Yeah, living with Jake was big because we're shooting videos every single day. And then, yeah, like for the As Seen on the Internet album, like there's big YouTubers in every single music video, you know? So I definitely made a lot of connects here.
You say that like you're relentless with this shit. How much sacrifice did you have to make in your personal life to get
all of it
to this point?
All of it. Like there was no personal life. I didn't have a personal life. It was literally like I was working 24/7, and I probably toured like 200 days out the year back then.
Right.
So yeah, I'm either on tour. This is how crazy it was. I booked the As Seen on the Internet tour before I made the album.
Oh wow.
I didn't even make the album. I started booking because to book the shows overseas, my agent was like, we got to have this much time. I'm like, cool, we're dropping it in August. I didn't have a single song made.
So you were like, all right, now we have a deadline.
Now we have a deadline, and that's how I've always been. I set deadlines for myself, and then I make the shit.
Right. Hey, we got to stop the podcast, man, real quick. Appreciate y'all for watching. Really mean it. Subscribe, like, leave a comment, even if you're one of those dickheads who leaves a comment. Yo, why are you always interrupting the guests? Because it's my fucking podcast. And I don't know. I like to talk, too. Anyway. Hey, shout out to Odd Socks, man. They've been our sponsor from day one. We go hard for Odd Socks always, man. Literally go hard for my wife, and I go hard for Odd Socks in different and same kinds of ways. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I go hard in Odd Socks. They do make boxers. You feel me? Anyway, listen, they got the ill licenses. They got the Breaking Bad. They got the WWE. They got Mountain Dew. They got fucking Swedish Fish, fucking Kool-Aid, Pez, you know, Cheech and Chong. What are you into? The Odd Socks basics are the boys, though. That's my favorite. You know, you get yourself a nice pair of just basics. They're comfy. It's like walking on clouds. All right. So you can save 20% off if you go to oddsocksofficial.com. Use the promo code BootlegKev. That's one word, BootlegKev. All together at checkout, 20% off oddsocksofficial.com. Go show some love and let's get back to the interview. For artists, you know, distribution is like a thing that's pretty easy to come by now. TuneCore, DistroKid, you know, Empire, United Masters, whatever it might be, right? Like, what would be, in your opinion, if like an artist was trying to choose between like where they should upload their music?
I think in the beginning, DistroKid is the best bet because there's more tools to DistroKid, and not everybody's going to get signed to Empire or things of that nature. United Masters is dope because they do a better job with the placements. But for me, I've just seen that DistroKid is the most responsive, and then they have the dope option for the splits.
The splits is important.
The splits is crazy, and I don't know why every other
I don't know why.
I don't understand why nobody else is doing it how they're doing it.
I know. I just hopped on TuneCore like 3 days ago. I was like, I wonder if TuneCore's updated.
Not.
It's crazy because that's one of the biggest headaches as an independent artist is to make sure a producer, because maybe you can't pay for the beat, but you could say, hey, I'll give you a big chunk of the streams.
That's why as an upcoming artist, I would use DistroKid because you can give your manager their percent. You can give
all through the whole.
You can
app.
give anybody that you work with.
It does accounting for you, low key.
It does the accounting for you. Which when me and Devon did our stuff, it was like I had to every month.
That was on DistroKid.
That was on TuneCore. So I had to go through the account and be like, okay, we made this much. Here's your percentage. Here's Ryan's percentage. Here's mine. Here's the producer. And I had to do that every single month when the checks came in or when the payout came. So DistroKid is dope because I can just assign everybody their percentage and go about my life.
Russell does something dope where like he'll let you invest in his shit.
Who does that?
La Russell. He's have you heard of him? He's fire. He's from Vallejo. Russ just signed him. He's the first artist Russ has ever signed. But he does this thing where like...
How Russ signed somebody named La Russell?
La Russell's gas, though.
Jeez.
La Russell's crazy. But he like... If like... Let's say Wallow or... like he was on The Breakfast Club, right? And he was like, man, when I was on The Breakfast Club, this shit put me in a different space. So I gave Charlemagne a cut of this record.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, like we did some shit on my show and like he gave me a cut of the record. Like...
Right.
But he has this thing where you can like kind of invest in his songs like they're stocks.
Oh yeah, that's super dope.
So like you might be able to pay. I don't know. You know, I haven't really invested, but I know that you could. It's all through DistroKid. But like if you believe in this kid's future, you could put down X amount of dollars and own X amount of the song or whatever.
That's hard. That's super hard.
And then the other thing he does is dope is like he sells merch, but he says pay what you want. So when you go on the website, you could buy the merch for whatever.
Coldplay started that. Maybe they didn't start it, but I remember Coldplay did that with an album. They put it on Bandcamp, and you could pay what you want. And they did an interview talking about it, and it was like some people would pay $200 for it. So all the people that downloaded it for free, you're getting made up because somebody's paying 20, somebody's paying 40, somebody's paying 50, whatever it means to them, they're paying for it. And it's like it's kind of like that with everything. Like if I go somewhere and I really enjoy the service, it's like, yo, I'm gonna go above and beyond and tip. Like if you hook me up every time, like boom, here you go. So it's kind of the same thing with that. So it all evens out.
Are you still like, cause I always say like, you have a cult following, right? And that's something that I was talking to, Caskey and Tony Chalk, they just did an album.
Yeah.
But Caskey had a bunch of unreleased songs. And I was like, yo, why don't you sell these, bro? So he sold.
I do it every year.
He sold like 1,000 of them for $100, right? Like just USB drives or a CD. But I know you've done that where you'll sell like a burnt CD.
Yeah, I do it every year. So that's kind of like my Christmas sale. So like technically you can't sell the songs because producer, this and that.
Clearance,
so like
whatever.
I don't sell the songs. I sell merch, and I just put that CD in the order. So at the end of the year, any songs that did, like say I drop an album or 2 albums that year. Okay, well these 30 songs, it's usually about 30 that didn't make the cut. Put them on a CD or put them on a QR code on like the tag, and then when people get the merch, they just scan the tag and they got 30 new songs.
Damn.
So yeah,
it's a nice incentive for people to spend some money.
So then I'll mess around and I'll sell 500 pieces of merch. And it's like, boom, you all get these unreleased songs, and those songs will never be on anything. You guys are the only ones that have them.
No one's uploaded them on YouTube yet?
Nah, weirdly, I haven't looked, but there's, yeah. So maybe there's a few, but not from me.
Yeah, I always tell people, I'm like, I've been telling Ritz forever. I'm like, Ritz, fucking sell a cookbook with a USB drive attached to it with like 3 unreleased songs. It'll make a fucking $1 million, bro. Like,
everything, the way I've looked, everything is money. Like you can monetize everything.
Yeah, it's funny because I had to get later on in life to really start looking at things through that lens.
Right.
Like giving away your time for free, giving away advice for free. Like I've give tons of advice for free, but just time to me is like the biggest thing where if someone's like, yo, I'm in town, I want to pull up. I'm like, bro, like just send me like a private playlist and I'll try to throw it on in my car. But like, I'm not going to come to the studio and sit with you for 2 hours.
Yeah, no way.
But when did you feel like you started to kind of?
When I was 5.
He's like, it's been in me.
When I was 5,
it's in me and ain't on me.
I blame it on my dad. My dad's a tightwad, bro. Like, dude does not like to spend money at all. So like, from the jump, it was like anything that if I wanted something when I was a kid, I had to work my ass off to get it. So it always kind of stemmed from that. And like, dude, I was selling mini discs in 1st grade. I was selling mixtapes in 3rd grade. Like I was really,
because your dad was a drummer.
My dad's a drummer, bass player, DJ. Yeah.
One-stop shop.
One-stop
do
shop.
A whole wedding in Quinceañera by himself.
Yeah, facts. No, he's. I think he told me the other day he's done 800 plus weddings or something, or over 1,000 weddings. Yeah, he crushes, and he's still doing it. He's 63. So yeah, no, just that mentality has been in me from day one. So like, my brother was like, "Let's do this show." I'm like, "How much we getting paid?" We're not. I'm not doing it. Period. There's no. I don't do anything for free, because if I'm gonna spend that 3 hours at the show, that's time I will spend now with my wife or my son
away from your
or
family or
whatever, or spend grinding to get money, or even like the reason why my feature rate is what it is because that time and that energy, and then my platform is worth that amount of money. So it's just.
And if you do a feature, you're promoting it. For the most part?
So the way Indie Amplify works is you can click what you want. So my base price is $2,000 for me to just do the record and never say shit about it. You want me to be a main artist? That's an extra $1,000. You want me to post on my IG story? That's an extra $150. My main page, an extra $350. Shoot a video, $600. So depending on what you want, my feature could be 2 bands or 5.
Hey, the main artist is the play though. Because then
you're kind of dumb if you don't do that. It's the difference for me between like first week that artist getting maybe 5,000 streams or getting 60,000 streams.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So
that's not a bad deal.
Yeah, so if you get the feature, you might as well get the main artist, or else it doesn't do.
Have you turned down anything because it was so ass?
Yes, for sure. But I accept more than anybody else, definitely, because it's my platform. So like, I want to show good faith of like, yeah, book on my platform and I'll do it. But I've definitely turned down a few.
Would you ever, like now that you have other artists that you're working with, like, do you advise them like, we're going to stay independent, or is there a major situation? Because I mean, obviously, like you said, I mean, listen, we talk to artists all the fucking time and they're miserable in their situation for the most part.
Right.
I feel like nowadays more than even when you were on the come up, like a major really isn't all the way needed. Like maybe if you like really want to have a #1 record.
Right. I think it's just, what do you want? I think that's probably, to an upcoming artist, you have to think about what you want, and that's the only way I can advise somebody. Like, what's your goal? What's your dream? What are you really trying to do? And I think when people really think about it, like, don't answer it now, answer it later. Do you really want to be the biggest artist in the world? Do you really want to have a #1 song? Do you really want to not be able to go to the grocery store without getting recognized? Do you really want to like have all this shit? Or are you just trying to live off your music? And if the answer is you just want to live off your music and push it out whenever you want, that might not be the scenario for you. Right. And at the end of the day, it's like, I've never been anti-label as much as people think that I am. Like I said, I was very close to signing a deal. It's just like, it didn't make sense. So if a deal presented itself for Michael Minnelli, who's an incredible pop R&B singer, and that's what he wanted to do, let's run it. Let's take every meeting we possibly can. And if it makes sense, let's do it.
Yeah, think about someone like Kyle, right? Who had, I don't know if I Spy happens if he's independent.
I Spy did happen while he was independent. Well, with indie pop. And then he signed after like 2 weeks of it being out to Atlantic, right?
Right. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so he dropped it and then was like, Atlantic was like, we're signing you. And so he signed to Atlantic, and I'm sure he got a favorable deal.
I think it's Diamond. Did he tell us it was Diamond?
It's almost diamond. It's like
eight times platinum? It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, well, that's,
like, I don't know if that's going 8 times platinum without Atlantic Records.
It's not. It's probably going one times platinum.
Yeah,
without Atlantic.
Or gold or something.
Yeah.
What besides Indie Amplify, you mentioned Maps?
Yeah, so Maps is like a new link in bio service where you can better create your link in bio.
Yeah, which is important because
much doper. Works way better. Has way more analytics. It has Google Analytics integrated into it.
I was gonna say because like the link in bio thing or whatever that smart link shit is what everyone uses. What about that did you see and say we could improve on this?
So the design, I'll show you. The design of it is way better, and the analytics. So like you don't really know what you're getting, how people are clicking on it, and ours is just like this looks way better.
So if someone clicks on your bio, this is what they get.
That's what they get. You don't have to build another website either. That's your website. You know what I'm saying? It looks good. You can design it.
Low key, like a little mini website. Merch.
Yeah, you can pick your different templates. We're incentivizing people to create their own templates, and then they can sell those and make money off of them. So
this is your new album coming out? Don't Want to Be Famous?
That one dropped on New Year's. Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's fire.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just a much better thing. And then on the back end, like the analytics are crazy. You can see how many people clicked on each different thing. You can see who purchased something.
Is the goal to build Indie Amplify up and sell it?
My goal for Indie would be to sell it for $100 million and be hired as like creative director for it.
Like still be involved, but just get it.
Yeah. Same with Maps.
I mean, yeah, I can see it, man. I just think that like what Indie Amplify, what's dope about it is just like, when we think of music and being an up and coming artist and the like headache of like trying to figure shit out, trying to like get over the hump, there's access is such an important thing that people don't know how to get. Yeah. It feels like everything's just in one place to where if you're an up and coming artist.
And you can't get scammed. That's the thing too. Like we act as a holding company. So if you want the feature from somebody, they have to do it
before
and you have to approve it. And once they send it back, it's like, boom, it's been approved. Bam.
What is the biggest feature on the site that's the most successful? Is it people buying YouTube reactions? Is it the advice? Is it the features?
It's 3 things. It's features, YouTube reactions, and playlisting.
Why YouTube reactions? Why do you think those are so important?
We're the only place you can get them. Everything else that's on our site, there's other sites where you can, besides features and YouTube reactions, you can buy them in other places, right? You can get playlisting from a million different places. You can get music reviews from a couple other sites. You can get all consulting, whatever. But as far as like buying features from established artists and getting YouTube reactions, there's no other site that exists to get those things.
But for people who don't understand YouTube reactions in that world, why are they important for artists?
YouTube reactions is almost like the new blog. Like if you can get a big YouTuber to talk about your project or your record, then now a bunch of people are like, Crypt has 1.2 million subscribers. If Crypt does a YouTube reaction about your song, now his 1.2 million subscribers are now going to see that and go check out your song. It's a cosign.
I know, because I've been seeing like that shit's like, I feel like I maybe I was late to the YouTube reaction party.
Probably, yeah.
But like
it's been around for a hot minute.
I was like, oh
like
shit,
5 years.
This is a thing.
Yeah.
And some of these fucking videos get like millions of views. Just some guy talking about what they think about of a fucking record.
Yeah, it's honestly really weird to me, but it cracks.
And it's just normal people that really don't know. I mean, I'm not saying they don't know shit about music, but they're just YouTube personalities.
YouTube personalities. They watch your stuff and they could blow up a record.
For the playlisting side, like, you know, there's like certain tools that if people have the time, the patience to dig through like Chartmetric or like some of these websites to like try to find curators for playlists. You pretty much kind of eliminate all of that.
All the work. Yeah, that was all the work that I kind of put in for myself when I was changing. Like in 2019, I kind of started making different types of music. And that's when I really got into playlisting, because I was like, okay, my fans aren't necessarily going to love this music per se. How can I get it in front of new fans? And that's when I just started going, like discovering artists that were similar to the new music I was making and looking up all these different playlists. And so once I kind of vetted that, I put all those curators into a spreadsheet, and now...
And you'd get their contact. So essentially you're like, cool, I need a price to get boom, boom, boom.
Exactly.
Boom.
And then now when somebody books, it's like, boom, I pitch it to these people, and then they can put it on, they can not put it on, whatever the case may be. So yeah, when you get the playlisting, if your song's ass, period, doesn't matter what you do, it's never gonna blow up.
Have you had to tell someone that when they pay you for the advice? Like, this shit just isn't good?
Yes. Yeah, and it's hard to do, but...
It's really not that hard to do, because I've been doing that shit on IG Live during the pandemic. Like, well, what do you do, buddy? I work at Quick Trip. Keep that job, man.
Right. See, I think I just know how that feels to be like the artist and want it so bad, and then somebody be like, yeah, you suck.
And then
but at the same time, there are really shitty artists that blow up. I was just listening to some shit in the car today that was fucking awful and has 84 million streams. It's viral on TikTok. Shout out to my guy Young Lean. I just listened to all his shit.
Young Lean, huh?
That was not
That's
good.
a white guy, right?
That was not good,
He's
bro.
white, right? White guy named Young Lean?
It's not, it's like, and I'm not the end all be all for judging music, but like, it's not mixed good.
I mean, that's welcome to the SoundCloud era.
It's crazy to me. It's not on key. The beat's not good. Like, none of it is good, but it has 85 million streams, and he's shitting on me. So shout out to Young Lean. But if he would have played that shit for me, I would have been like, trash this. This is garbage. And here it is with 84 million
Sometimes I just get
streams.
super bored, and like I was at Dan G's manager's house recently. Shout out to that guy Brock. He's a fucking
Young Megawatts.
interesting guy.
Oh no.
So there was some chick in there, right? And she's a rapper.
Why are you whispering?
I don't know. So I was just bored. I was like, get me the fuck out of this place. So it's like, I'm too old to be at Brock's house on a fucking Friday night.
Brock is too old to be at Brock's house on a Friday.
This is true. So I'm like, hey, this chick is in her 30s. I already knew her music was going to be terrible.
You know who she is?
I don't know her name.
Okay.
So I was like, just bored with Alexis and his girl. And I was like, let's just entertain ourselves. Hey, you rap? Oh shit, play me your shit. She throws it on.
You're an asshole.
It's like the worst music I've ever heard, right? So I literally, with a straight face, I looked at her and I said, hey, what do you do for a living? She was like, I'm like a medical assistant, whatever. I was like, listen, whatever it is, you got it. You need to quit your job and you need to go all in on this shit, because you got it. This shit is fire. It was great. It was great. I don't know if she ended up quitting her
Now, what
job.
happens if she really quits her job?
She's all in. She's all in. That being said, it was fucking terrible. God bless her. Shout out to Dan G, man. Sweetheart. I love that guy.
No.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's tough. That's tough.
it was fun though.
That's super tough.
But I was like, yo, this is it. I was like, I don't know when they talk about it,
You got it.
you got it.
Oh, man.
Quit your job. Put all your money into
You were drunk?
this. No, I was sober. I was just bored.
Damn. Bored be the new drunk sometimes.
For sure.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let me entertain myself tonight. I was
Facts.
probably mean. I probably should hit her up and tell her that her music is atrocious and not to quit her job. Keep your fucking job, sweetheart, if you're watching this.
Keep your job, please.
Make her
Please
watch.
keep
Show
job.
your terrible friend this video so she does not quit her job.
I'm gonna post it on my Facebook because I know I'm cool with megawatts on my Facebook. I'm gonna post this specific clip.
That guy had an afro in an LMFAO ripoff group back in the early 2000s.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That was when I was like going to Access Radius, the 18 and up clubs.
That was cringy.
Yeah. I don't necessarily remember the music. I just remember
It
him
wasn't
being
good.
like,
It wasn't good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, these dudes are popping. They're performing at these clubs and there's hella people here.
Yeah. Shout out to Access Radius.
Yeah.
Shout out to Arizona. All the 18. Man, there's like no 18 and up clubs anymore. That shit's dead.
Nah, bro, the game has changed.
The game has changed.
Game has changed.
Any other, obviously you own Guest List, you're co-owner of Guest List with Ryan, which is a dope store in Arizona Mills.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anything else you got coming?
Nah, man, just support the homies. All the homies that I manage: Michael Manelli, Oswin Benjamin, Chris Rivers, Elisa Gutierrez, Poetics. Go to Indie Amplify, make you a map page, And, you know, music dropping all the time.
Your album is out.
Another album, 16 albums in 10 years. What we talking
16 of them.
about? 16.
Is that including like the joint album with the Devon?
Yep.
Would you do another joint album? Well, you did a joint album with
Mike.
Michael. Yeah, right?
Yeah. Did one with Mike. Yeah.
All right. Well, shout out to Futuristic. Go follow him. Go to Indie Amplify. Is it kind of like, you were telling me you were kind of like going to do like a social media aspect of it where people could sign up and have their profile type shit?
Yeah. So that kind of was like, we basically broke that off into maps. So it's not necessarily a social media profile, but we built maps kind of to be that. And then we realized like people outside the music industry could use maps. So that's why.
Are you looking for investors for Indie Amplify or anything like that?
We will be soon.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, we got investors for Maps and a board of advisors, but we have not had investors for Indie Amplify, and it's just because it kind of took a life of its own and has been crushing. So now it's kind of like do this, and I kind of got a game plan for it for like the next few months, and then after that, it's kind of like, okay, what's really the end goal going to be?
Random Futuristic Bootleg Kev story. We got to tell the Wiz Khalifa story.
Okay.
We went to NAU.
Yes.
This was Flagstaff, Arizona.
Yes.
I believe Wiz's cousin played football there.
Yes.
I think he did a show at the, I don't fucking know. But anyway.
At NAU.
We go there.
Wiz and Rocky
I'm
Fresh.
like, I call Futuristic. I'm like, yo, let's hit. I think I got into a huge fight with my lady at the time.
Huge fight. She slapped you in the face.
Probably.
It was
which
crazy.
is why I'm not with her anymore, because she's a psychotic bitch.
She was definitely crazy. He bought her 2 very expensive bags, and she was very unappreciative.
She's a psychotic bitch.
Your
Anyway.
son was playing video games on the couch.
We end up going to Flagstaff.
Go to Flagstaff.
There's some house party. Wiz Khalifa and all of the Taylor gang ends up taking over this house party.
Yes.
It's like a very like stereotypical college house in the mountains.
Yeah. Little 3-story joint.
They got like the random offensive lineman's bedroom is like the VIP section.
Facts.
And it was just a very weird night.
Do you remember the girl who smoked the joint backwards and burned her gums off?
Maybe. I remember some dude chugged the whole bottle of Bombay.
You were wasted. So wasted. So let me tell you what actually happens. We're at this party. The girl went viral on Wiz's Twitter the next day for smoking the joint backwards and having no idea she was smoking the joint backwards. Burned her whole shit up.
Painful.
Wiz posted it like, ha, 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 ha. So that happened. Then you're like, dude, I can't fucking drive. And I'm like, I don't even know how to drive at this point in my life. I literally didn't know how to drive.
Oh yeah, you didn't know how to drive.
You have a fucked up Jeep,
Yeah.
and the alignment is like this. Fucking like this. And I tell you, I'm like, dude, I can't drive. So you're like, I'll drive. We get 5 minutes up the road. This dude falls asleep and his Jeep is just going.
By the way, you had sex in that Jeep that night.
No, you had sex in that Jeep that
night. This guy pulled a bitch out of the party. And what? You weren't with your current girl? Who gives a fuck?
No, I definitely wasn't.
No, but yeah, you pulled the chick out at the house party.
Correction. We both had sex in the Jeep that night.
I just remember you like, yo, I need the keys.
Oh man. Something happened. I don't remember. Only thing that I remember is literally swerving off the road. And so I'm like, fuck it. I got to make a life or death decision. I got to drive. Don't have my license. Don't know how to drive. It is what it is. I'm driving like this to keep it straight. And the next day, my arms were so sore from driving the car. I went to the gym to hoop and could not shoot for shit.
Well, that was a good night.
Great night. Shout out to Wiz. There's a lot of crazy shit that happened. Okay, that show was also the first show that Wiz had done since he had his kid. So he was super excited just to be out the house.
Yeah, it was a pretty wild night.
He was living life, and Will was doing some crazy shit. I learned the deodorant trick. You remember the deodorant trick they showed us?
Stuffing weed in the deodorant.
Stuffing weed in all the deodorants. Dudes had like 150 things of deodorant, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
It's all weed in there.
They opened up the caps, all weed, hides the smell. Learned that.
Yeah.
And saw naked pictures of Chelsea from Teen Mom on somebody's phone that night.
Chelsea from Teen Mom.
Yeah. One of the Taylor gang guys was definitely a whole lot of gang shit. Chelsea from Teen Mom. That's
Shout out to Will. Will's a great guy. I love that guy. One of my best friends. We are Eskimo brothers a few times over.
Sheesh. Probably that night.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. It was a good night, though. Hey, Futuristic, appreciate you pulling up.
Yes, sir.
Go support Indie Amplify. If you're an up-and-coming artist and you don't know what the fuck you're doing, just go surf around the website.
IndieAmplify.com. Come on.
Boom.